Hey, it's Grant Morris from Happy Hour. Just before today's show starts, I just want to tell you something about Patreon.com. If you go to Patreon.com and look for It's New Orleans Happy Hour, you can help us out for as little as $1 a month. You can be a part of the Happy Hour family, support the show, and get all kinds of exclusive content, as well as an opportunity to be actually on the show anytime you feel like it. You can check that out at Patreon, Patreon.com. It's New Orleans Happy Hour. It's Happy Hour again from Uptown New Orleans. Hello, I'm Grant Morris. Happy Hour is part of the family of shows on the podcast network. It's NewOrleans.com. When you walk into a bar in New Orleans and you pull up a bar stool, you never know who's going to be sitting on either side of you. What you do know, however, is no matter what they look like, what they're wearing, whether they just got out of a limousine or just got out of jail, they're going to be happy to talk to you. Because that's New Orleans, and this is Happy Hour, 60 minutes of, what is it? It's a cocktail-fueled 60 minutes of random conversation with folks who have nothing in common other than we're all New Orleanians in a bar. Today we're at the fabulous Wayfare on Ferret Street, where they have half-price cocktails and half-price food every day from 3 to 6. It's Happy Hour at Wayfare every day, and it's Happy Hour here for the next 60 minutes. Thanks for joining us. I have a very interesting bunch of guys sitting around the table here at Wayfare today who I'd like you to meet. Andrew Principe is here on my right. Hello, Andrew. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Thank you for spelling. How am I? It's very nice of you to ask. I'm good. It's nice of you to spell your name phonetically too, because that is a weird name. Principe, pronounced Principe.
That's right.
Are you from somewhere north of Lafayette or something?
I grew up in New York, yeah.
You're from New York, so it's somewhere out of Lafayette.
Yes.
So how do you end up with a name like Principe?
You're Italian.
Oh, it's Italian.
And
Did you guys know it was Italian?
No.
Kevin Gardere is here as well. And that's French.
That's French.
Gardere. So I just think everything's French.
There's a French derivative. There is definitely a French Principe.
But your family is Italian?
Definitely Italian.
Now, you look Italian once you say that.
Well, thank you.
Do you think he looks Italian, Kevin?
He's on the bubble.
On the bubble
Yeah.
between Italian and
French.
All right.
French. Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Okay.
I'm not too insulted by that.
And what about world-famous Jason Bishop is here from Jason Bishop and the $2 Pistols.
That's right. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm
good to be here, man.
Thanks. It's great to have you here. Jason, in case you don't know, is a traditional country music artist, the like of which you don't see all that often anymore, or hear.
Well, especially here. But
Especially
yeah,
here.
You're right. Yeah.
I guess if you lived in Nashville, maybe you'd hear more guys like you. But
No,
even
not
there,
really. More so in Texas, I would say.
You're
know,
from Texas originally.
Yeah, absolutely. From
So what made you want to hear?
Oh, my parents moved here when I was young, and
Did they?
Decided to come with them.
yeah. So yeah.
You had to come.
Yeah, they weren't gonna leave. They weren't gonna leave me on the doorstep anymore. But
How old were you?
oh, I was in my teens whenever I came here. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
I've been here. I've been here ever since. I mean, I've lived back there a few times, but actually, this is basically home.
Right.
So
you've held on to a bit of the Texas twang.
yeah, that's hard to get rid of.
Yeah. Have you tried to?
No,
Not really. No, you need
no,
that.
I have not tried to get rid of it.
So you grew up here in New Orleans, really?
Yeah,
From
basically.
from teenage. What high school did you go to?
Well, I went to East St. John. Was out in Laplace, St. John Parish.
Right.
And after I graduated, I moved here, and I've been playing music ever since.
So where do you play principally? Up and down Bourbon Street?
I used to. I was on Bourbon Street for about 26 years. Now,
Wow.
I travel more. I travel from Pensacola to Lukenbach to that's in Texas. That's the one. That's the
Yeah,
one.
who said that? Who was that?
Oh, Waylon.
Was that Asher?
Oh, that was Asher. I thought
Asher,
that was
thanks.
Waylon Jennings, man. No, it was Asher. That's who it was.
It was Asher Live.
But yeah, I do a lot of traveling now.
Right.
So
It's Willie Nelson. Willie Nelson.
and Waylon.
And the boy.
Yeah.
Asher, you going to have an argument about who sang?
Yes.
Yeah.
Asher
What-
and I are going
what
to get
was
into
the
a
name
debate.
of- what
Google
was-
it, would you?
Oh, man.
All wrestle.
C-Rock will find it. What was the actual name of the song?
Back to the basics.
Back to the Basics.
Back to the basics. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Back to the basics of
Back to the
It was
life.
not. It was not written by Waylon.
Can you do a bit of it?
Sure.
Okay, grab the guitar and do a little bit of it then.
I was. Yeah, I can do a little bit.
Okay, so we have a guitar mic and
Are
everything.
you not? Are you not familiar with that?
Yeah, I know the song, sure. Back
Oh,
to
do
the
you?
Basics
Okay.
of Love, yeah. I don't think I can sing it.
The only two things in life that make it worth living
Haggard Jennings.
is guitars attuned good and firm, feeling women. And I don't need my name in the marquee lights. I've got my song and I got you with me tonight. Maybe it's time we got back to the basics of love. Let's go to Lukenbach, Texas, with Willie and Waylon and the boys. This successful life we're living got us feuding like the Hatfields and McCoys. Between that Hank Williams Payne songs, Newberry's train songs, and Blue Eyes crying in the rain. Out in Lukenbach, Texas, there ain't nobody feeling no pain.
Yeah.
That's the short
What do you
version.
think? That's beautiful. How'd you like to be able to do that just on a dime, you
I
guys?
know, all right.
That's a bit-
Am I next? Because I
Yeah.
can't.
Here, you want to do something, Andrew? What's
Pass
your
the guitar.
favorite country song?
Oh,
You
you're
do
putting
like
me
a
on the
juke?
spot.
You do like a juke? You
That's
listen to
okay,
country
'cause
music?
a lot of
I
people-
don't listen to country music.
A lot
but
of people don't.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
yeah.
A lot
that's
of
okay.
people say, what kind of music do you like? They say, oh, I like all music except country.
Yeah.
Some people do
Get
say
that
that.
a lot.
Well, I like both kinds.
Country and western.
Yes, country and western.
Do you find a lot of people don't like country, or is it just
No,
people I know?
I think a lot of people don't understand it. They don't.
It's not that difficult to understand.
To actually, it's a genre you have to listen to.
yeah,
So a lot of people don't.
right.
You have to actually listen to it.
Most people who don't like it, I think, probably think it's hokey, and
Yeah, that's what
every
I'm saying.
song is pretty much the same.
And a lot of it is kind of, believe it or not, it's really it's kind of thought provoking. So it's like, oh, I just want to slip my wrist for listening to that. I'm like, yeah, I mean. And somebody asked me the other day, they said, why you play on them sad songs? I said, because they make me happy.
Why is that?
So,
Why do sad songs make us happy? Why do people write so many songs about heartbreak?
Because I honestly don't. I think the reason being is because when that's introduced to you that somebody's in a way better, worse shape than you are.
Oh, that makes you feel good by comparison.
That's right.
Okay.
There's no way I could feel that bad.
Do you think that's right, Kevin?
I do. I
Because
mean,
you do this for a living. You talk to people who are fucked up for.
yeah, and one of the denial patterns
Yeah.
is comparison. And when you
Is
look,
it?
but then again, the people who are walking into our doors know, they see somebody who may be much worse off than they are.
Right. So, Kevin, just to tell you what goes on here, Kevin is the executive director of development at the Bridge House and Grace House.
Grace House, yeah.
Yeah. So, all the derelicts, and,
Including myself.
including yourself, you're a derelict as well. You have one of the greatest bios I've ever gotten on the
no.
show, and I've got
That's
a lot
the
of good
whole
ones.
bio.
Listen to this, guys. I'm going to read this. This is a country song right here.
Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
Okay.
Do you mind if I read this paragraph out
Go ahead.
verbatim? As I guess whoever sent it to us. Kevin Gardere is the executive director of development for Bridge House, Grace House, as well as a devoted husband, father, and friend. He was raised in Mary, Louisiana, by his loving parents and 4 older siblings. Kevin graduated from De La Salle High School with honors. It all sounds good, right?
Yeah,
It
great.
sounds like a
Kid's a winner.
fairy tale. He began his career as a high school basketball coach and became the youngest athletic director in the state of Louisiana. Pretty amazing, right?
Fantastic.
So far, so good. He married in 1997 and welcomed his daughter Grace into the world in 1999, which I guess was a bit of a sort of a prescient moment, calling her Grace,
Calling her Grace, yeah.
given that. But behind the scenes, Kevin was suffering from the disease of addiction. He eventually lost his wife, his daughter, and his job due to his addiction to drugs and alcohol. How about that for a second paragraph of a bio? I've never read.
Right.
I've never read a second paragraph of a bio like that in my whole life, and I've been doing this for 3 weeks now.
3 weeks.
This job. That is pretty amazing. Most people don't put that shit in their bio, by the way, just in case you were wondering about that.
Yeah, we
Did
were
you-
just talking about it because I go out and speak to different groups, and anybody will listen to us because, right now the heroin epidemic is touching everyone. But when I go out and speak to different groups, I'm going to a women's attorney association tomorrow for lunch. I keep that second paragraph out.
You do?
And then at the end, I tell them all about Bridge House, Grace House, and I say, I didn't just show up there by accident.
Right.
I was a client, and kind of gives them that wow
So,
factor.
what were you addicted to?
Pain pills and alcohol.
So you were way ahead of the curve
I was
on the
way
pain
ahead of the
pills
curve.
thing.
I was in a car accident from drinking and driving right after I finished high school. Slammed through telephone pole and into someone's house and was pretty much gone.
Where was that?
In Metairie, the Kenner-Metairie line.
Oh, Kenner-Metairie line, okay.
Yeah, Canary, right?
You went into someone's house in a car.
Right, in a car.
Fuck, that must have been interesting. What time of the day was that?
It was kind of, real early in the morning.
They were at home asleep.
One in the morning. I was coming back from uptown, a night out.
Fat Harry's.
Fat Harry's was probably in the equation.
Okay.
TJ Quill and Bruno's definitely was there, and 5 blocks from my house. I was shit-faced.
That's the fatal thing, apparently. People
Yeah.
get close to home and they think they've got home.
Exactly.
And they chill out, and then next thing you know, you're in someone else's living room.
Right.
In your car.
Eating that coleslaw. Right.
Holy shit. So what happened? So you lost control of the vehicle.
I fell asleep.
You fell asleep?
Just shit-faced. And woke up then the following day, with a trach in, and realized they had to take out my spleen. I had a compound fracture in my left femur. Eventually took out my left kidney. Was in the hospital for like 2 months, and mostly in ICU. And that's when I got addicted to the opioids.
Things weren't bad enough.
Things weren't
Now
bad
you're
enough.
getting addicted.
Instead of that
Okay.
being an eye-opening experience, was having some, my family was having some problems, and, I was drinking way too much.
What year in your life? How old were you?
I was 18.
So you hadn't even gotten married or gone to school or done anything.
Nothing.
And you were already addicted to pain pills.
Correct. So the accident happened in July 28th, 1988, and I got out the hospital, I think it was October.
Right.
August, September. Yeah, it was almost October when
And
I
what
got
happened
out.
to your leg? I see you have a limp to this day still.
Oh, I have a prosthetic leg,
It's not a real leg.
not a real leg.
So they chopped your leg off.
They chopped it off in 2006.
Okay.
I had limb salvage then.
Jeez, look at Jason's face.
Right.
He thinks he's
like,
heard
oh,
everything. This
he's
is a
like, this
grizzled
is a
old
country song.
musician.
No, it's
Yeah.
who would know that from looking at you across the street? You know what I
Right.
mean? That's
There's got to be a country.
crazy.
There's got to be a country song in this.
Yeah,
right?
now we
bet.
got to do it.
yeah. We'll have to sit down.
Yeah, you're right.
What could you call it? What happened to my left leg? Something like that.
Right?
Is it the left one or the right?
It's the left.
Oh, okay.
Above the knee.
Still got the right one,
One
baby.
leg.
Right? So,
So you got one good leg.
One good leg. A leg to stand on.
Sorry.
One
I
good
had
leg
to
to
do
stand
one
on.
leg.
So what's the other one made of?
I don't know.
What, like, is it titanium type stuff or wooden? Or?
Oh, it's titanium. It's a $40,000 piece of equipment.
It's not real, is it?
No.
40,000.
It's got a microprocessor chip in it.
Does
Carbon
it?
fiber makes up the socket.
Are you making this up?
No.
It's
I
true.
mean, I could
You can
show
take it off and show us. Yeah, sure thing.
I'm not going to take it off. but
Oh,
I'll-
okay. Well, you could, but
Casey's already seen
seat
it.
warmer.
let's have a
Right.
look.
Got a seat warmer.
Oh, I see it.
See, what you
Fancy.
can do
Oh,
is
my-
this.
Ah,
That looks
yes.
like it hurts, huh? Everyone,
This is
thank you.
Bionic yoga. Holy shit, that is fancy. So it moves around. Can you control it by
You do.
thinking?
Not by thinking. But they do have bionic legs now for single amputees like myself, where you put it's almost like an ankle bracelet on, and it imitates
Right.
your gait of your real leg, and it moves for you.
From your nerves in your.
It's not really from the nerves.
What's it
It's
from?
from the motion of the way you're walking.
Okay.
So they help.
It's
They
like
do have.
gyroscopic or something. So how does this work? This is just a hinge on the
This
ankle
one?
and the.
No, it's got like the little hydraulic things to go back and forth. So they have like 12 different settings. So depending on the amount of pressure I put on my heel,
Okay.
and then once I turn it over to my foot, transfer it to my toes, I should say, then I know when the leg will start giving. And then like when I sit down, instead of just flopping down, they can increase the resistance of that.
And who's they? Who does all
This is Otterbach. Well, I go to a prosthetist.
Prosthetist.
Yes, say that.
No, I can't say that.
That sounds
Exactly.
that's so
Watch your mouth.
That's
Right.
so illegal.
Can't even say that
Can
in
you
a
say
bar.
it again? Prosthetist.
I can't spell it. That's
I can't say it.
it starts with a P.
And Andrew's kind of involved in this because he's in the healthcare business
A little bit, yeah.
as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So your business is involved with trying to get people like Kevin proper help, I assume.
That is correct, yeah.
Can you tell? It's called Starling.
Yeah, our firm is called Starling Advisors, but that's not what's important. What's important is
What's
that
important?
we work with the federally qualified health centers all over the country, and our job is to make sure that people have access to health care when they want it. So we don't necessarily deal with folks that are as far along as you were, in terms of having an acute need of needing surgery and ICU and then addiction
Well,
treatment.
that's just how it started out. We've got a long way to go.
Well, our focus is really more on primary care. And how do we make sure that everybody has access to care so that if they see themselves kind of slipping down that slope, they have a place that they
What
can
do
go.
you actually do?
What do I actually do?
Yeah.
The closest I could come up with is I'm a lobbyist, but we
That
don't.
doesn't sound good.
It doesn't sound good.
No one likes to
Right.
hear
Can we
that.
strike? How much does it cost to strike that?
That's 25
$25
bucks to get the word lobbyist out.
Lobbyists.
But we're not money, so we don't hand money out. We don't do that. What we tend to do, so we represent federally qualified health centers, and we try to help
Okay,
them.
so what is a federally qualified health center?
let's start
Let's see
there.
if anyone knows. Do you happen to know what that is, Kevin? Jason doesn't have a clue.
I would think we are one. Because
you-
we do have to get accredited at Bridge House.
Bridge House
Grace
is a federally qualified health center.
Yes.
I don't think you
Oh, no,
are, but
well-
you are an accredited program.
Yes.
Sorry.
But we talked about Crescent Care.
Yes.
That is one
Crescent
of the
Care.
federally qualified health
Okay,
centers
so what's the
here.
definition of a federally qualified health center?
So a federally qualified health center is a primary care facility that agrees to treat people regardless of their ability to pay.
Okay, so someone who is a doctor who will actually take someone who doesn't have to pay
And then
them,
they
like
have to put
Medicaid.
a whole bunch of stuff in place, and then they
Right.
apply for a grant.
Isn't that called Medicaid?
No, well, they take
No.
Medicaid. So they'll serve the Medicaid population, and they'll serve the uninsured population.
So what kind of a doctor will see you even if you can't pay him?
Well,
I would like to meet that guy.
Well, I think you should go check out one of the. We have some fabulous
Go to Crescent
federally.
Care.
Go
It's
to
pretty
Crescent
Crescent
Care.
Care. Well,
There's a number of them
Totally.
here.
Yeah.
Like, well,
Crescent
what-
Care especially is just
Now
doing
listen.
great things.
It's
Where are
not that
they?
they'll treat you if you're not willing to pay.
Right.
It's they'll treat you if you don't have the means, no matter what your means are.
That's-
so.
Okay.
And they're one of America's kind of hidden secrets. I wish more people knew
I
about
would say
them.
that's very hidden. Jason,
Well,
would
I
you
I
agree?
think everybody should know about that.
Everybody should know about that.
Yeah.
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 I've never heard of. Had you ever heard that before?
No, I have
Me
not.
neither. And you're a
No.
starving musician. Well, not starving.
I'm not
exactly,
starving.
But
They do
There's
have
a-
burgers here. You buying?
Yeah.
there's a whole musicians clinic.
Yeah.
For people
yeah.
musicians who don't
I'm
have
actually, I actually go to the musicians clinic myself
great.
when I
That's
have to.
a
Yeah,
great
no, it's
thing.
awesome.
And the reason you go to it is because musicians don't make a whole lot of money
we
in this
don't make
town.
a whole lot of money. That's right.
And so they need to look after. But you could actually go to Crescent Care and get seen for nothing.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did actually.
No, I said they will see you
Did he
regardless
say
of your
that?
ability to pay.
Did
he
he say?
insinuated it.
I'm pretty sure if we roll back
So-
this recording.
One of the cornerstones of the federally qualified health center movement is that they're required to set up a sliding fee scale.
Okay.
So depending on how much money you make, they set their fees accordingly.
Okay, so how would they know how much money? I come in and
They ask you.
I've come in and I've got one leg and my other leg is in bad shape.
Well, they would say that leg
They said-
costs $40,000.
You must have got that from some. Where did you get $40,000 to get
Well,
that leg?
now insurance will cover the majority of it.
Yeah.
It used to be like $25,000 a limb.
Really?
Not lying.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
06 when I first had to have it amputated. But now it's usually the minimum they have to require most of the insurance, well, probably all insurance companies nationally is $50,000. Of course, they
$50,000 a limb.
A limb. So there's no real restrictions on like when it gives out. The one I have usually lasts like 4 to 5 years, and then the top part, the socket, you got to get changed maybe every 2 years, just because
Okay.
the tissue and the muscle I have left is always atrophied.
I
And,
noticed you stopped that. You was like, oh, I'm not going to do that.
Hey, I was like this.
But you stopped.
But he was going the other way.
So the top of the leg, what's
The-
that called officially? Is it?
The socket, they call it.
That's the top of the actual
Yeah.
prosthetic. What's
Yep.
the bit of your remaining leg called?
Residual limb.
That's a residual limb.
I call it my stone.
That's what I was going to say. I would have told
I
you
don't want to
I'll
use the
go
word
with
stump.
stump.
I thought there might have been a better word there. I'm going to write
Yeah,
down.
but-
Residual limb sounds better, doesn't
That's
it?
a good
Yeah, but the
band name.
national
That is a good name
qualified
for a band.
That is a
You're
good name
right.
for a band.
residual limb.
What about calling your band that, Jason?
Yeah,
Instead of $2
yeah,
Pistol?
that could be the song.
That could be the
Because
residual
there's
limb.
another band called $2 Pistols. You know?
Oh, is there?
Yeah. You never
I
heard
think there's a
those?
few of them.
Is there?
Yeah.
I was looking for you on Spotify, and I thought, boy, this guy's got a lot of records out. Then I find out.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
It's not some other
No,
band.
no.
You really don't know about that? Are you serious?
I do know.
Okay.
There were a few, but there's no one around here. I basically just use that locally.
Okay.
Because usually when you have, what's the name of your band? And I
You got
just
to come up with something.
Yeah, I just threw that out there
Well,
one
it's
day.
a good time to have a band named after a handgun, because handguns are in the news big time.
Yeah.
Well, if you call the AR-15,
Yeah, it's a great- yeah,
if you
sure,
call
it's
it
a great
AR-15s, you might be able to.
Well, actually,
capitalize on.
the $2 pistols is a quote from a song.
Oh, okay, what song is it?
It's a country song.
That's right.
Can you play a little bit of that?
Duh.
Can't take him anywhere.
It's a
How does that go?
a George Jones song called the Corvette.
Oh, do you happen to know that one, anybody? Andrew, you ever
I
heard
do not
that?
know.
I don't
You
know it.
Kevin, do you know it?
I do
Asher
not.
knows it.
I know it.
Asher's
You
had
do?
it.
He says.
Asher
he
can
knows a
sing
lot.
along.
Yeah.
Asher,
What is it?
How
Well,
many?
the tagline
See,
in the
everyone's
song.
been drinking on this show.
Isn't that great? Except me.
Soda water, thank you.
Good man. Well, Kevin doesn't drink anything.
16 years.
I'm the only one.
16 years? 16 years clean.
I got you beat.
Wow.
49.
49
I never
years.
started.
Get out.
You're 49 years old and you're in the music business and you never had a drink.
That's amazing.
No. I've had a drink.
Okay.
I just choose not to.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't. But anyway, back to the
Well, I think
$2
if
pistol thing.
if you've had a drink, then you can't be clean and sober for 49 years. I think they have to
Okay, well,
start
then I
again.
lied.
He lied.
Yeah.
Is that right? Is that the definition of it, Kevin? What is the definition?
Yeah, well, the definition is, I mean, in the recovery community, if you have been sober for 16 years, you're basically saying that you haven't had a drink or drug in the last 16 years.
But you have to be an alcoholic to
An alcoholic,
or
drug
a
addict.
drug addict.
Yeah.
Whereas
if
you're not one.
if
You're
you're
just
not,
a guy who doesn't
Never
drink.
been there, dude.
Right.
So you can have a drink and not care about it.
Yeah.
You can have one.
I don't.
You can have one
I don't
every
cheer.
4. So you just choose not to drink ever.
Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, Christmas.
What
I
do
might
you-
have some of that eggnog.
Oh, that's the worst shit. Why would you have that?
Well,
I don't
'cause
know.
Because
Some
you're
of-
saving yourself. Why would you
It's
have
a
when you
social
have
drink,
whiskey?
man. You know that.
Eggnog? I hate it.
But they have that little Philadelphia eggnog that comes already
Do they?
juiced up.
It's
Used
a,
to buy
Right.
that by the gallon, just freaking
Right.
slam it.
Did you?
It was good stuff.
it's a social drink, man. That's you know.
Do you miss drinking, Kevin?
I don't. There are times, I mean, there are people who tell you like the obsession of drinking has left me. But there are days that I think, yeah, a drink would be nice right now.
Right.
You know, certain type of food
What kind
you
of
eat.
days out there when you have like pasta or something? You like
When
a
you
glass
have,
of red
well,
wine.
from New Orleans, if you eat crawfish,
Right.
you like a beer.
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
What about non-alcoholic beer? Does that
No,
no good?
you're not really. But most of the non-alcoholic beer really has some alcohol content.
So you can't have that.
No, can't have that.
You could have Dixie. That's back. That doesn't really have any
Ooh,
beer in it.
I'd lose my other kidney.
Just saying.
Ooh, I hope they're not
Oh,
sponsored
you
on
only
actually.
nah, they should be.
Or you could move to Oklahoma.
Right.
Yeah. It's only 3.2. So
Oh, really?
What, what does that mean? The 3.2%.
3.2. Yeah. That's it. It's been like that forever, and it's still like
The whole
that.
state will only
Whole
allow
state.
3.2% alcohol per volume.
For beer.
For beer.
And how much is Budweiser? That's about
5.7.
Yeah.
Is it really? So
And then
where,
the IPA is like 9 or something. 9%.
Easy.
so
yeah.
where do you
That
get?
Triple X stuff is like 11.
Really?
Yeah. The
See,
most.
that wasn't not.
See, you know a lot about
How do
booze for a guy who doesn't drink it.
Well, I'm in bars all the time, man.
Good point.
So
how does Oklahoma get alcohol to be brewed at 3.2%? So all these breweries have to make special booze
Yep.
for
yeah, they would have to
They
do
do.
it just
You
for
know
that
this,
state.
Andrew?
Yeah, what do they call that? There's a name for that because they do that in Utah too.
Crazy.
They do
there's
that
a,
in
there's a different
Colorado as
alcohol
well.
content in Utah.
Yeah, because of the Mormons. Yeah,
Right.
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 What,
yeah.
the Mormon religion has got an alcohol content level?
You can only have so much alcohol in front of you when you're in Utah. So when you land at the Salt Lake City airport and you go to a bar and you say, "Hey, I'd like a drink," what do you want? A shot and a beer? They say you can only have one or the other.
No fucking way. Are you serious? You only have
I don't know about Utah airports.
this
I don't
true?
drink, so I wouldn't know.
This
that.
is
you
100%.
can only have one drink in front of you at one
Why
time
would I
in the
make this
state
up in front
Utah.
of 3 strangers?
I don't
I'm
know.
on his team.
I'm sure it's,
It's
true.
true.
Grant, I can weigh
Yeah,
in
yeah.
on this.
Yes.
In all three
Thomas.
of those states that you mentioned, Utah,
Yeah.
Colorado, and Oklahoma, you can buy alcohol that is above 3.2 levels, but you have to buy them at a state-sanctioned facility.
Wow.
And it can't be chilled.
Oh,
Are you serious?
That's
It has
right.
to be
Yeah,
room
you,
temp.
you cannot
It
leave
can't
with
be
cold beer.
There's state rules about temperature.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if it's
What?
cold,
Like what are the
obviously you're going to
You're going to
drink it when
drink
you
it.
get in the car.
You're going to drink it in the car. Yeah.
Okay, so these legislators in where are we talking about? Oklahoma, Utah, and where's the third place?
Where was it there?
Colorado. You think they have more
I didn't think
things
Colorado
to,
would
to
have
do?
any kind of.
Well, Colorado's got legalized
Really?
pot now.
Well, yeah, they have to eat.
Yeah,
they
but you
have to
can't get
even that out.
drunk.
You're not allowed to have a chilled drink over 3.2%.
Well,
I
you
really
can.
learned
You
something
You just
today.
can't buy it at a store and
Yeah.
drink it in a vehicle.
You have to
We-
buy it at a federally mandated place. Maybe they sell
You
the
have
same
to
place
buy
as
it
the
at
as
a
the federally
package.
mandated
Yeah,
health
no.
center.
Let's not conflate those two things.
Yeah, you have
That
to
would be
buy
a
it
good
at a
idea.
package liquor store
No.
or package place that just sells, and There's no coolers in there. You bring it out hot. You take it home. Then you cool it off. Then you drink it.
Right.
Wow, I never knew any of this.
Isn't that cool?
That's just crazy.
Are you
That's very
marking
interesting.
Oklahoma
Well,
off
I'm
your
pretty-
list at this
I'm
point?
more interested in the Utah idea,
Do
though,
not
which
go
is
to Oklahoma.
which says you can only have one
Note to
drink.
self.
That is really sort of
Also in Utah,
Pretty
you have to
intrusive.
buy beer by the bottle. You can't buy like a 12-pack. They sell you 12 individual beers.
Oh.
you can't buy. You
It's
can't
true.
buy
I
a
swear to
case.
God. Like you have to buy like
serious?
12 individual beers,
But
and
you
they mark
can
it
buy
up at like
12.
$1.29 a piece.
You see, I would have never been an alcoholic if I'd grown up there.
No, you're in the wrong state.
Right.
Did you
That's
have
funny.
Did you have a fake ID when you were?
When I was
Gee,
14.
14.
Yeah. I was the youngest of 5. I really did.
Do you honestly think that
No, no.
if you
I was-
lived somewhere else, it
No,
would've
no,
been
no,
tough?
no.
I mean, I'm
No,
being
I
serious.
honestly think I would still been an alcoholic.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you're a
but
real
then-
alcoholic, you can still drink it at room temperature. It doesn't really matter, does it? Probably.
Oh no, it doesn't
Right,
matter.
but-
you stick red wine in the shed and you're drinking it out of that. I mean, that's, you get back to where you're drinking by yourself. That's how it was for me and for plenty of alcoholics.
Yeah, well, that's
and
the
you
best
come in
kind of drinking, really.
straight out the
'Cause then you're
bottle.
not sharing it with anyone.
Right.
Well, of course, people that, I'm in the entertainment industry, so when you meet tourists that come in for the first time, never been here before, they lose their mind when they
Right.
find out that
For
they
sure.
we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
take this outside.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Or the drive-through daiquiris.
Yeah.
Try to
is-
explain
they
that to
think
somebody in
drive-through daiquiris is
Utah.
ridiculous.
They honestly think
ridiculous,
that's just like the most bizarre thing
They
on
like
the
you
planet.
laugh at us.
Well, it is weird. I have to
is.
say that is weird.
Yeah.
You can buy an open alcohol container at a drive-through.
Just as long as you
And
don't put a
with the
straw,
straw
in
in
it,
it,
it's
yeah.
legal.
Yeah,
The
that is
straw has
crazy.
to have the wrapper on it, right?
If you get pulled over,
No, to
Just when
the
it's
daiquiri
salty.
when they give it to
yeah.
you now.
But you're not
Closed
allowed to.
container, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you get pulled over by a cop, actually, what is the deal with the open daiquiri? It's not supposed to have a straw in it. As long as the straw is not in it when you're pulled over.
Yeah,
syrup.
they put tape on the top of it, so you can't break the tape.
Oh, really?
But,
That's
like,
what
yeah.
goes on now.
It's a closed container at that point.
Okay.
Everyone's breaking
Did
that
not know
tape,
that.
though.
Yeah, I would
Everybody's
think.
breaking the tape.
But if you get pulled over, you're going to get arrested for that here in Louisiana?
I'd take a look.
See what
No,
you can
that's why
find
you
out.
ask for a second straw at the drive-through. So
So you show them the one that's still
Ah, you
right.
can just take the top off the thing,
You learn.
and you keep the tape on. The,
Learning
okay.
things
Okay,
today.
we got it figured out.
This has
I'm
been
good.
very educational.
Okay, Residual Limbs. That's the name of the new band. What was the song we were going to get you to play just before, and then we never got to it?
We didn't ask him, but
Oh, we were talking about this $2 pistol.
Oh, the $2
Yeah.
Pistol, the George Jones song. How
Yeah, it
does,
was just,
how does that? What line is that?
I don't
You don't know that
actually
song?
know the song, but
Okay.
part of it says, and he sings it really low. I don't know if you're familiar with George Jones at all. So
Oh, I know his name more than anything. It's like Moses.
Yeah.
You sort of know Moses' name, but
And now that you say that, in the traditional country music genre,
he is.
I would say he's
he's
Moses.
Moses. Yeah.
Wow.
Basically.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm thinking.
Well,
But you've written a great song talking about alcohol called Alcoholiday,
right.
which has some of the greatest lines. I'm not going to blow it by quoting the lines in it, but are you prepared to, can you sing that song for us?
Actually, I wasn't prepared to do that.
You don't
one.
want to do that one?
No, that's actually
What?
a song. It's not mine. I did not write that.
Who wrote that?
A guy by the name of Mike Hankins out of Nashville.
Okay, then we can totally talk about the lyrics then. I thought you wrote that.
No, I did not. No.
okay.
Funny story. Now, I posted it on my Reverb Nation.
Right, that's right. I heard it.
It's a really, really great song. Mike had called a friend of ours, Adam Haynes, who works on, he plays on Bourbon Street. He's a local producer, and he has a studio in Algiers. And I got a call from him one day, and he says, "Hey, man, can you come over? I'm doing this country project. Can you come over here and just sing this song?" I was like, "Yeah." So I went over there, did 4 or 5 takes, and that was it. And Mike Hankins actually called me. He's like, "Man, can you do that again?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So they redid it. He took it. They actually took it to Nashville and reproduced it, and he sent me the finished product.
Okay.
I've only sang that song one time.
And that was it. That was that
Yeah.
one. Oh my God. Well,
Yeah.
it's got these great lyrics in it.
Yeah.
It's a song about a guy who's discovered that his
his
wife
wife's cheating on him
with somebody
while he
from
was
church.
at work.
Yeah.
A guy that they went to church with, and
Yeah.
while he was, working
And it's
second
got this.
shift.
It's got this great verse in it that says, "I guess I could have shot her and pleaded insanity, but the truth is she ain't worth the bullet that right now I'm saving for me.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
I think that's a great.
Yeah, Mike did a
country.
great job on that
Yeah,
song.
it's a
man.
great piece of writing. So what sort of stuff
know.
do you write for yourself?
Actually, I'm in a studio as we speak. Not
All
as
right.
we, I
Well,
would be
not-
there now.
Right.
This is,
You would be there, right, if you weren't
We're
wasting your
currently
time.
in the studio doing my CD, my first CD. I've been on tons of other people's.
Right. This is your first one in 49 years. What's it going to be called?
Well, it's
so we
my
can...
first solo. CD.
Right. What's it
Yeah.
going to be called? Do you know yet?
No, I think I'm just gonna be self-titled. It's just gonna be
Okay,
Jason
Jason
Bishop.
Bishop. Okay.
So at this point.
Okay.
So-
Well, you want to play us something that you're
Sure, man.
putting on that?
Yeah,
Okay.
Is this coming through?
Yeah, you could.
Is that better?
What's it called? The song?
The song is called "The Mountain of Fire." Actually, you would, I think you might be able to relate to this a little bit. The gentleman who was, or the co-writer of the song, who passed away. His name was Gary Hurstis. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but
Sure.
one of the best songwriters I've ever come across in my life. He was a really good friend of mine, and you guys kind of had the same. You guys have had
same story.
kind of.
Kind of,
You know,
yeah.
He didn't lose his leg, but
He's a wannabe.
maybe not anymore.
Residual limb wannabe.
Residual Limb
No, not
Wannabe.
anymore. Well, I mean,
Okay, that's-
he
What's his name again?
Gary Hurstis.
Gary.
Have you ever been to a Saints game
Yes.
and you see the little band that comes around?
Right.
And they play the little songs.
Yeah.
So there was a little short, gray-haired little man that played trumpet. That
Yeah.
was his dad.
Get out.
Yeah, he did that for years.
I
Every
know.
Saints game, he was there.
I've been going to Saints games since like '78.
Well, he struggled with some addictions and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
And, this one's called "A Mountain of Fire." And we may just decide to do the title as "The Mountain of Fire."
Might be called the album of Mountain of Fire. Okay.
Yeah, we may. I don't know. I came down from that mountain of fire. I've seen things that I cannot speak of. I've got scars that won't heal from the way I live on that mountain of fire. You said you lived across the water. You stayed dry, but somehow you turned cold. It must have hurt to know I was alive on that mountain of fire. Mountain of fire, river of blood, running through our veins, but there's no love. It must have hurt to know I was alive on that mountain of fire. You said you lived across the water. You stayed dry, but somehow you turned cold. It must have hurt to know I was alive on that mountain of fire. Mountain of fire, river of blood, running through our veins, but there's no love. It must have hurt to know I was alive on that mountain of fire. On that mountain of fire. On that mountain of fire. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Mountain of Fire off the album called Mountain of Fire.
Maybe.
We'll be able to steal that off of Spotify and everything
Yeah,
eventually.
man, you will as soon as we
Okay.
get done with it. Like I
Right.
said, we're
So-
halfway through with it.
Why would you make a CD anymore, given that you know everyone's going to steal it immediately? What's the logic these days?
Oh, you mean of actually having a physical
Yeah,
CD?
yeah.
Well, I mean, it's a good idea to have merch with you when you go places.
That's basically it.
yeah, basically.
Yeah.
You know.
So people, because they hear you and they like you and they want to give you something.
Yeah,
so
and you can actually, when you're in a position where you don't, you can just hand these things to people.
Right,
You
right.
you know.
it's like a calling card.
Yeah, basically, and it's a lot easier, to write. Oh, here's my card. A lot of people just
Right.
stick them in their pocket and forget about them.
Does anybody still have a CD player? Andrew, do you have a CD player?
I have,
In my truck, yeah.
I have one in my
Thomas
truck
has-
also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
yeah.
you're halfway
Cheryl
there,
still
man.
has-
You got a truck.
I have a truck. I don't have a dog, though.
Neither do I.
Oh, well.
Because you got to feed them. That's why.
Yeah.
Hey, you want to play a little song in the background here? Let's just some instrumental thing while I do these commercial messages.
Sure.
Just to get us through, because we're halfway through the show here. So I have to tell you that today's show is brought to us by Basics Swim and Gym, where you can get a full range of fashion swimsuits, workout, and yoga clothes with style. You can get yourself a bikini, a one-piece, a cover-up. Everything you need for the beach or poolside is at Basics Swim and Gym. It's right next door to the lingerie store, Basics Underneath. On Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue, and thanks to Hangover Destroyer. Now this is a good one. The only all-natural product medically proven to prevent a hangover. If you go to the Hangover Destroyer website, it's hdestroyer.com, and you write the words happy hour in the coupon code, you'll get 30% off of your first order of Hangover Destroyer, so you too can seize the dawn. If you'd had that, life would have been a lot different for you, I think, Kevin. Wonder what you'd be doing. What would you be doing if you didn't end up being an alcoholic? We'll get to that in a minute. Also, thank you to Louisiana Legs, who make workout and yoga clothes with designs that incorporate photographic art, like Mardi Gras beads, boiled crawfish, wrought iron in France, and caves in China. You can find Louisiana Legs on Facebook and Instagram, and you can buy Louisiana Legs on Etsy. Check them out. It's Louisiana Legs, and that's who's basically responsible for paying for this whole thing. Thanks, Jason Bishop, in the background there, from Jason Bishop and the $2 Pistols. And this new band is going to be called Residual Limb Wannabe.
Yeah.
Or should we leave the wannabe off of it?
How do you even say that?
Residual Limbs.
Say it fast.
Yeah.
Jason Bishop
No.
and the Residual Limbs.
Wannabes.
Wannabes.
Yeah. Didn't you say that? Residual limb wannabes?
That was my initial title, but I think I might take the wannabes off. Do you think? Because who?
Residual. I get that. That makes sense. I mean,
We got to put prosthetists in there.
We can't spell that. That's difficult for social media.
prosthesis.
Prosthesis. Is that right?
Prosthesis.
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 Say it really
It's
slow.
not that kind.
Prosthesis.
It's not a cyst.
it
It's a
slowly.
fist.
His
Say it
name's
really
Kenny
slow.
Bordelon.
It's a prosthesis.
It's a prosthesis. It's
A
called a
person who
prosthetic.
It's a
But
person
then
who
the
makes
person who makes the
a prosthetic is a
Tist.
prosthetic.
That's right.
Yeah.
not prosthesis.
Prostatits.
Easy.
Do you know the correct pronunciation of this, Kevin?
No.
Well, C-Rock's going to have to figure it out for us. It's very, very... How do you get to be a prosthetist? What kind of a job is that?
There's schooling for it. I mean, it's...
So what do you think, seriously though, what would you think you would have done if you didn't end up being an alcoholic and drug addict and you'd led a straight-ahead life? You'd gone on from the... We'll read the first paragraph again. You'd been an athletic director.
Oh, yeah.
You'd still
I
be
loved coaching kids,
still do that.
basketball still. But, maybe going into sales, insurance. All my insurance buddies make shitload of money.
Right.
Or, I don't know.
But their legs are worth nothing.
What's that?
Their legs are worth nothing, whereas
Exactly,
yours is worth
right.
$40,000.
Right.
So, there is that.
I've never owned a car that was worth 40 grand.
That's right. Mine's not worth that either.
Well, what's your legs worth 50 now if you lose the other one? The insurance company will pay up to $50,000 for the next one.
Right.
So I guess So tell us a little bit about opioid addiction. You know something about this too, I guess,
I do,
Andrew,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So where do you come from, the opioid addiction from?
So one of the big areas that we focus on is essentially the root of opioid addiction, and I mean, you nailed it. It's mostly coming out of the facilities that people spend time in. And so one of the things that our health centers try to do is create an alternative. Now, your situation's different. You needed to be in the ICU.
Right.
But we deal with a lot of folks and who end up in emergency rooms and they don't have the capability, if you will, to treat people for the kind of conditions that they need to be treated for. So opioids come into play. You show up with dental pain. Well, guess what? We're going to give you something that's going to fix that for the night.
Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that. That's why they invent these things.
Well, sure, I suppose.
Right? Wouldn't you say?
Well, 10
That's
years.
why they were invented, but then the doctors really didn't know how addicted they were, and
Right.
they did not come out and say how addictive they were.
Right. What are the names of these opioids that we
Like,
talk about?
back then, the pills were Percodan, Vicodin,
Yep.
Tylenol 3 with codeine. Then it came to Roxycontins. Then Oxycontin was like a long time release pill.
Right.
But
What is it today?
Today, it's heroin and synthetic fentanyl and synthetic carfentanyl.
Yeah.
Because the pills now, so doctors are, in our eyes, have become a lot more hesitant to prescribe pain medication. There was also pain clinics that you could walk into with I could have your X-rays, and they would give me the holy trinity, which was Oxycontin, Soma, which is muscle relaxer, and Xanax. So those 3 things you basically got like a month's supply of for each of those.
Where would I get these bogus X-rays from if I?
You could probably buy one standing in line and at those places.
At
Yeah,
those
it
places,
was
for
crazy.
sure. Yeah,
But those are like you get to like the outside pain management, wink wink. You know.
That's well. I mean, they were pretty open about it. These were like doctors who had retired, going to working for a pain.
Don't they have like separate places that consider themselves just pain management?
Yes.
And that's where a lot of that
But
started.
now, I mean, there's legitimate pain management now.
sure.
So, but like,
But I
from
mean,
like
when it-
2002 to 2009, say, it was like they were these little pop-up pain clinics were everywhere.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, so they
Right.
put a moratorium on those, and they really don't have those anymore. So that, along with like some of the guys that are coming in, like you said, I was ahead of my time. I was getting Demerol IV push every 3 hours when I was in the hospital. That's like shooting up every 3 hours, basically, but not enough to kill me. So now that the pills are so much more expensive on the street, like
How much?
Vicodin, Percodan might cost you $10 a pill,
Okay.
where you could buy a bag of heroin for $20 right now. It's a little bit more powerful than 2 Percodan, you know, or 2 Vicodin.
Yeah, but where would I get that from? I can get the Percocet or whatever, the Vicodin from the doctor, but where do I get the heroin from? Does everyone know someone? If I want to find it, I can find it?
Wherever you are in New Orleans, I say you're 2 blocks from a heroin deal.
That's true. No, that's true. I mean, that's not that. You know, you said it a little bit joking, but that's
No, it's-
that's true. Yeah.
It really is. I mean, it's everywhere, and it's
It's
so
everywhere.
accessible. So I'm 47. So when I was growing up, you could probably walk into any bar and find someone who could get you a joint.
Right.
Today, there's a lot of places you could walk into and find someone who can get you heroin. And then there's this
Let's have a look around.
Let's look. Table 2.
Yeah, okay, over there. Looks like I like the cat. That's
No.
interesting. I didn't know actually. That's C-Rock. Have you got something to say?
Yeah, I've got some freaky numbers here. In 2010, there were 308 million people in the United States. And then in 2010, there were 251 million opioid prescriptions given out that year.
Right.
So
I
that's
believe, I believe in Louisiana, you would know this, Andrew. Is this true? There are more prescriptions for painkillers than there are people.
I believe that, and I mean that's the definition of an epidemic, right? Like we've gotten to the point where that's something we need to be talking about at a major level.
Right.
So,
Jason, do you know anyone who's hooked on?
Do I know
Okay.
anybody?
Yeah.
Well, I have known people. Yeah.
Do you know anyone right now, though?
No.
Andrew, you probably do because you're in the.
personally and through my professional work, yeah.
But you know personally too.
I do know
Okay.
people who are personally
Kevin, do you know
addicted, yeah.
personally anyone who's personally not just professional
Oh,
through
yeah.
Bridge House, but
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
okay, so everyone knows someone.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's touching everyone. I mean, New Orleans was considered the murder capital of the world for some time, and in 2016, there were more overdose deaths in New Orleans, in Orleans Parish, than there were murders.
That's right.
Yeah. Unintentional overdose.
Yeah, 99%. Well, what we think, 99% of the overdoses that lead to death are accidental in our eyes.
Is that right? 99%.
That's no written down, but just people we
Right.
know, and
So most people aren't intentionally killing themselves.
they're not trying to kill them. They're trying to get loaded.
Yeah.
Well, that's
And-
the people that I've known, they're not here anymore.
Right.
So
That's fair,
and
yeah.
that's usually, and the people that I have known that've been on it, that's the reason they're not here.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
not, I don't currently know anybody at this point.
If you're
so-
if you're 50 years or younger, the leading cause of death in the United States is overdoses right now. 50 years or younger
The leading cause of death in the United States, if you're under 50,
is
an overdose,
overdose,
of,
which majority are
painkillers.
opioids, which could be,
and this is a
heroin.
but this is mostly people taking them for recreational purposes.
Well, it could start out that way, and then if you,
But I mean, they're not people who are hooked on them because they've been to the hospital like you did.
some
no,
of them are.
that's a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of it stems
We've
from
had,
people
like-
who get hooked on it from medical treatment, and
Right.
it's that's a big part of
Workman's
the problem.
comp.
Workman's comp. So the whole workman's comp system is about getting you back to work, right?
Right,
So how do you
exactly.
do that? You treat
That's
the
the
pain, not the problem. So
Because I've known a few guys that have, been on the pill thing. That they actually got through it, but
Yeah,
it took
yeah.
so long.
yeah,
Right.
They had such a struggle to get through it because whenever it was time when they got released to go back to work, it was like, oh, okay, you can't have this anymore. And
Right.
it wasn't a gradual
Right.
thing.
No,
They
right.
just said,
No,
all right,
right.
you're done. So what happens?
Yeah.
These guys they're in pain. They have to do something about it. So
this whole epidemic, this nationwide epidemic that
Yep.
we're suffering from, which is this it's all about pain. It's all about the relief of pain. So there's obviously a huge market to relieve pain.
Sure.
And relieving pain is not such a bad thing to do, right?
We're all kind of looking at each other like, yeah.
Well,
it's-
no, relieving pain's not a bad thing, and not all of the people came through like I did or had an injury.
Right, not everybody.
I mean,
who has
for
a
me,
drink in their hand is an
for me,
alcoholic.
eventually I was like, I don't know if there was pain or not. I was
Right.
using. Once in my eyes, once you're hooked, and there's no.
But I mean, we can't make these things illegal because they actually have a medical function.
We
And even if you do make it illegal, heroin is a legal big deal.
Right.
Right.
Well, that's the thing now.
So-
The illegal
okay.
drugs are cheaper than the ones that are legal.
yeah. So what is the solution here?
which makes no sense.
Right. Which makes us.
Yeah, it does make no sense, does
So
it?
we need a lot more prevention. We need a lot more money. I mean, we could double our
More-
capacity for males right now. We treat
For what?
for the males of Bridge House. So Bridge House is the
Okay.
men's program. Women's is
So
Grace House.
you're taking care of people at the
That have
bottom end of
lost
this thing,
everything.
who have,
Yeah.
there's nothing left to go.
We got to start catching them upriver. So we
Right.
need more prevention.
Right.
But right now, for the people that are hooked, this is one of my. I want to get on top of the dome and start going crazy and yelling. But right now in New Orleans, besides Odyssey House, which is a similar organization, they have medically assisted detox. And you pretty much need to go through a medical detox in a hospital type setting. If you're on opioids, heroin, especially in fentanyl. Like when I went through alcohol and opiates are the two. Alcohol withdrawals can kill you. So it's pretty dangerous. So when I went through and I was on pills and alcohol, Charity Hospital had 45 detox beds. Right now, the city of New Orleans has 0.
It's unbelievable.
And heroin is killing young adults every day in our community, every freaking day. And it's like, there's a lot of people that want help. My phone doesn't stop ringing, and it's not like, hey,
Okay,
Kevin.
well, there's a fair chance that someone's listening to this who needs help. Then.
No doubt.
Okay,
Without a doubt, yeah.
so where do they go?
So that's what, you tell them, just call us first.
They're the first stop.
Call,
yeah.
Call
call
Bridge
us, and we'll,
But
not
you
everybody.
always think that Bridge House is just what you said, is a place where you go if you've already lost everything.
Right. But, I mean, we don't, there are people who call us or friends or friends of staff members that might not need us, but, we don't hang up the phone and we don't close the door. It's like, you come into Bridge House, whether you're Medicaid eligible or not, and you say you have a problem with alcohol or drugs, we're going to help you. We'll figure out
Okay.
the rest later. If you could get paid for, you say you have a problem with alcohol or drugs, we have a bed, you're getting in.
Okay. And where is Bridge House now?
So
is it still on Camp Street down there?
We still do rent that property on Camp Street, but it's just the house right there. They have 45 beds for women of Grace House now.
Okay.
We built a new facility. We moved all the men into the new facility at 4150 Earhart. It's on the corner of Earhart, South Dupree, right behind Restaurant Depot. So we
Right.
have 84 beds there for men. And then we have another location of Grace House, kind of by Toro Hospital, has 25 beds. So we have 70 beds for women, which is close to meeting the need in our community.
And when you say beds, I mean you're talking about actual beds.
Beds.
And what happens to people when they're not asleep? What are these people doing?
Well, it's very structured. Like, for instance, when
So
you...
this is a resident. This is a
It's
residence.
resident. You live in there, stay in there
Okay.
24/7, and the further along you get, the more freedom you get.
Okay.
So they wake up at 6 in the morning. They eat breakfast at 6:30. They have a thought for the day or meditation for the day that they read as a group, and they discuss it.
What is it today?
I don't know. See, right?
You could have made that up. You could have used yesterday's. Who would have known?
Right.
What was yesterday's?
Actually, I don't attend the
Oh,
their
you're
morning
not down on the
meditation.
weeds there like
No.
that. So you're like the boss. Okay.
So, and then after that, they may have like a therapeutic duty to perform. And if they're in their first month of treatment, they're in our stabilization group, and they go to the group. They'll have written and writing assignments. They eat lunch. They'll
And
group
so
their...
these are people who no longer have a job.
Correct.
Obviously. So you're not.
Nobody, yeah.
They got nowhere to go.
Yeah, nowhere to go, right. And then after they're in our, what we call a stabilization phase, then they're put into our primary phase, where they get a new substance abuse counselor. They also have a vocational rehabilitation counselor, and they'll also be assigned a job within our organization. They could be working for me. They could be working at thrift stores, because we know alcoholics and addicts, it's easy for us to get a job, but not necessarily to keep one, and that doesn't just change overnight because you stop using. So there's healthy habits you need to redevelop. It kind of lets the residents experience the daily stresses of the work environment while being able to practice the principles of recovery, spiritual principles of recovery. And then after that, they go through a work packet and they go on work search. There's a lot of organizations that love hiring our people, and give people routes to the supermarket, for example. I mean, they're probably the number one employer of our residents right now that are in that final phase, along with graduates of our program. Pinkberry hires many women from Grace House. Taiwana, she's told her story quite frequently, and she's one of their regional managers for the people who own the Pinkberries in Louisiana and most of Mississippi.
Wow. So you're doing some good work here.
We are.
You say?
Saving my butt.
Yeah. Really,
plus
it's amazing.
thousands of. Last year we treated like 808 people.
808. So this runs all on donations.
63% is donation. Like we were talking about.
63.
63.
And what's the other 37?
Government support.
Okay.
So it used to be where.
Federal government.
Well, it's federal. It's all then funneled through the state block grant. Some of it through Metropolitan Human Service District at the city level. So with the Medicaid expansion, before we expanded as a state, it was like only 10% of the people that were coming to us would qualify. Once John Bell Edwards took office, and then Louisiana as a whole accepted Obamacare, we actually flipped. So now it's like 75, 80% of the people that we're seeing qualify for Medicare.
Okay.
And then
what's in your pocket?
there's
What are these
tickets.
bits of paper?
Tickets
for
to
something.
a fashion show.
Oh, are you giving them away?
I
Or are you
was
selling
going to
them?
sell them I got to go to a board meeting right after
Oh,
that.
okay. And you're having a fashion show.
A recycled fashion show.
Okay. What does that mean?
Sundays.
Featuring recycled fashion.
So what we do is we have designers. Now anyone could really be a designer. That gets a $75 gift certificate to our thrift store. They then go and get items from our thrift store, not always clothing, material, ties, yoga mats, and make them into runway fashion. And each designer has 2 outfits. It's going to be Sunday at Rock.
Can anyone enter this? Is that what you're saying?
It's kind of too late to enter as a designer.
If I had an idea for my old yoga mat, you mean
I may be able to
maybe
pull a
next
string.
year I could get in on that.
Pull a string or two.
This sounds pretty funny, actually.
It's amazing what some of these people put together.
We can go to this thing, though.
We can go.
Where
Tickets
is it?
it's Sunday at Rock and Bowl from 3 to 6.
Sunday, what date is that?
25th.
Sunday, February the 25th.
Yep.
Okay, let me just make this absolutely clear. That's 2018.
2018.
Sunday, February 25th, 2000. If you listen to this after Sunday, February the 25th, 2018, it's too late, but you can go and see what it looked like at the Bridge House, Grace House website. I'm assuming there's going to be photos up there.
We have tons of events.
Okay, but if we do make it in time, where is this thing?
Rock and Bowl on Carrollton.
Rock and Bowl. Okay.
Right.
It sounds pretty good, actually, doesn't it?
That's a great venue, by the way.
It is.
And we'll be able to buy a drink there.
It is. We have drinks at just about every one of our events. You know,
do?
one of the big things for me was like, I needed to realize that I was an alcoholic and addict, and there's certain things I couldn't do to stay sober, and there's certain things I needed to do to stay sober. But step 1A for me was realizing all my college friends and high school friends were not alcoholics and addicts. A lot of them, you know.
Right.
And they can go out and drink, and they can go out and abuse alcohol.
Yeah. But
And-
you're having a thing here at this Rock and Roll for all the Bridge House people who are in this residential recovery.
To raise money for the Bridge House
Are they going to
program.
be there so these guys can already hang out in a bar?
We will have a select few that help us. Mostly they'll help us with the restaurants. We're going to have 15 restaurants there. Like, so they'll be serving food.
This is a cool thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I had to get to the point where a lot of alcoholics won't say this, and a lot of people in recovery, you know, oh, you can't go in a bar if you're in a a barber shop long enough, you're going to get your hair cut. You know, if you're in a bar long enough, you're going to have a drink. But, you know, to
So you
go
advise people to stay out of bars. Is that what you're
stay out of bars unless you're with
Alright.
other people in recovery or it's a bridge house event.
So here's a great sentence in your bio, Andrew, that I haven't
Yeah.
got to. But we're going to have to get out of here, but in a minute. But it says in 2014 you purchased the home in the Treme as a project to undertake with your wife, and then 3 months later filed for divorce. That's another strange sentence to hear in a.
She filed for divorce, not me.
Yeah, right. That's
Get
a
it
funny
right.
thing to put in your bio too, though.
No, it was her fault.
No, I didn't say it was her fault.
No.
I didn't say it was her fault. I said she filed first.
And what was the cause of that?
Well, we went into that project knowing that we were in a situation where we were thinking about splitting up.
Okay.
And
Did you think that might bring you back together, like having a kid or something?
we did, and actually I said point blank, I think this is less risky than buying a kid. Like
You can't buy a kid.
you can, but it's frowned upon, generally speaking.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
So I said, you know, like let's get a project going, and
Right.
and so we bought a house together down here, and
You hear couples say that they were having a perfectly normal, happy marriage until they started renovating their house. It drove them apart.
that was the thing that brought us to. So when we we had a small, tiny place. We had a condominium up in Boston that we did together. Like we restored the whole
Right.
thing, and that was probably the most happy we were together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was worth a shot.
It was worth a shot.
All right. Didn't,
Well, no, I'm
Is-
I'm
is
happy
she-
as
you're
anything.
good. You got the house by the sound of it.
Yeah, and she's doing great. You know,
where did she go?
she stayed in Boston.
Oh, so she's in Boston then.
Yeah.
She went back to Boston.
Stayed. We didn't even move. It was not enough time to move down together. You know
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying?
Yeah.
So I came down, she didn't.
So how are you doing now? Are you dating anybody? Are you married again? Because you're married again, Kevin, right?
Yep.
You bounce back and you have another decent,
Yep.
happy, stable marriage.
I am
you up
not,
to,
but
Andrew?
that was 4 years ago that we divorced, and I gave myself 4 years. So this will be the
So
year.
today's the day.
Today's the day.
So what are we
Let's
looking
go.
for? Yeah. What do you want to do? What change are you looking for?
That's a lot to ask on a podcast, you know.
Not really. We've got a minute.
Do you have a
What kind
reverend's
of minute?
license?
Do I have a reverend's license?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could get one for $1 from the Universal Life Church of Modesto, California, actually.
Alright.
Sure.
Really? Just a
Why,
buck?
do you want to get married? Jason
gonna get
probably,
one.
Jason probably has one. Why, do you
No.
want to get married?
No, I'd
today?
prefer not to.
To whom? Do you have anyone in mind?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. So you're open to just meeting someone and getting married to them. This is not the first time I've heard this story. The last time this didn't end up well at all.
I would imagine that would not end
Right
up
here
all
at
that
the
well.
same table.
At the same table.
Yeah. You remember Frank Skurlock, who ran for mayor?
Yeah.
He met somebody at this very table and ended up
They ended
leaving
up
with
married?
them. And no, they're not married at all. No, I don't think they're even talking to each other.
Oh, okay.
But they were going to get married. He proposed to her. So that's what you're looking for, though. You want to find a replacement for in
What?
year 4. Why did you pick 4 years, actually?
Well, because I turned 40 in January, which was just last
Well,
month.
happy birthday.
Thank you very much.
All right. And do you feel any different?
No, not at all.
So tell me something. Who pays you to do all this good work you're doing to hook people up with
So
federally mandated?
generally speaking, what we help our clients do is develop funds, much like you spend, I think, a lot of your time doing. So we help them tap into federal funds and private funds and stuff like that, and then we help them develop those
Yeah, but who's
programs.
paying you, though?
Usually it's organizations that represent these health centers. So associations of
What
health
does that
centers.
mean? What sort of- Like associations of health centers.
I mean,
But why are they
it's
paying you?
fuzzy. I don't know what to tell you.
I thought you might know who writes a paycheck that you
No, I don't.
renovate the house with.
So there are groups that are very interested. So when you mentioned Louisiana Medicaid expansion, and I really appreciated the way that you said that, because I think most people talk about Medicaid expansion as either this state does or does not pay for health care for the poor, and that fails to understand what's going on here. You made the point that when Medicaid expanded, suddenly you had access to resources that you never had before.
Exactly.
So there are parties that are interested in seeing the financial resources be made available to care for people that have addiction,
Right.
have significant medical issues, whatever it is. We work for them, and I know I'm being super fuzzy about that, but organizations that advocate at the state level for things like Medicaid expansion, we come in and we help them make that happen.
Jason, are you following this at all?
Oh yeah, I'm
Okay.
on top of it.
You got it.
Do I look confused?
No, I'm confused. I
Brain
can't
looks a little
understand.
confused.
I can't understand who's actually paying you. But I guess I don't need to, do I, Kevin? Does it matter that I don't get it?
I don't think it's going to matter.
It's not going to matter to anyone? All right.
I think
But you're not doing... Billy Shell's calling me. We
you're
can't-
going to be talking about Scarlock as soon as we leave here.
So
I thought it's an instructive...
So we weren't involved directly in Louisiana expansion, but we were involved in expansion in about 10 states. And so there were organizations that
so
came.
you just happen to live here?
I just happen
your
to live
business is
here.
all over the country?
All over the country.
So you can do this anywhere.
I could live anywhere I wanted. I chose to live here.
Sweet.
All right.
Yeah.
Good job.
So
Well,
Thanks.
glad to have you.
thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate
you're right.
that.
Yeah.
I
All right.
appreciate that.
Well, you could help us out, actually, Andrew, because,
Yeah.
we're on Patreon now.
Okay.
Happy Hour. And do you know what Patreon is?
I do, actually, yeah.
Okay, so it's a way for people to help sponsor the show.
That's right.
It's a way to people, ordinary people can give us $1 and be a part of Happy Hour and help support the show. So we're not dependent on advertisers. We're dependent more on people who listen, users of the show. So
So who do you get paid from?
I get paid from Thomas pays me.
Really?
Yep. And we have
And then I paid Thomas.
C-Rock pays Thomas.
Yeah.
And then we have a bunch of people on the street with
It sounds like a
squeegees.
vicious circle. That's what it sounds like.
It is pretty vicious. So if you go to patreon.com, which is spelled Patreon.com, and you can give us $1, as little as $1 a month, and you get exclusive access to stuff that we make exclusively for our Patreon subscribers. And also you get to be even on the show, if you like. Just a whole other deal, which we haven't really figured out how to do that yet, but working on Jason to do that. So you're the kind of guy I need to help us figure out how to get Patreon to work.
How to get people to pay
If you can-
attention.
Yeah, if you can get people to pay attention to you all over the country and
Yeah.
figure out how to get people free medical care.
Yeah.
You must be able to figure out how to get people to...
Don't say free. We don't like to say free.
What do we say?
Well, we like to say that we're investing in health, like public health. I think that resonates,
Investing
So-
in Happy Hour.
No, I don't know about
Does that
that.
sound good? Doesn't sound as good when you say investing.
I mean, I save my money for happy hour, but I don't know if everybody does,
You're giving us $1 a month right now, right? I should get everyone to sign up when they're on the show.
That's
That's a good idea. That was worth the whole hour. Hey, thanks for joining us. That's Andrew Principe.
All right.
Who's been here. If we want to find out more about you, we can go to Starling Advisors.
.com,
You
yeah.
can Google that, starlingadvisors.com. And Kevin Gardere has been here too. Kevin is the Executive Director of Development at Bridge House, Grace House, which we can find as well. And the fabulous Jason Bishop is here from Jason Bishop and the Residual Limbs.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
See, you said it right the first time. That's awesome.
That's it. We're just going to go with that.
Yeah, we'll
Jason
go with
Bishop
that.
and the Residual Limbs.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty good band name, don't you?
It wouldn't hurt. It couldn't hurt, right?
And what could the first...
It did hurt when they took it. It did.
Hey, on that note, thanks so much for joining us. It's been Happy Hour for another week. The producer of our show is Graham DePonte, and our associate producers are Alison Moon and April Stolf. Our music director is Christian Unruh, and our music producer is Jean Valois. Thomas Walsh is our technical director, and Asher Griffith is our Facebook live feed director. Andrew is C-Rock. C-Rock is our fact checker and social media connector right over there. Our theme music was written by and is being currently played by Mitch Foreman. If you'd like to be on our show, you can sit upright for about an hour while drinking cocktails, drop us a line. Our address is on our website, itsneworleans.com, where you can also check out many other hours of Happy Hour that's up there, as well as some other shows we make here, including Out to Lunch with Peter Raschuti, live from Commander's Palace, Louisiana Eats with Poppy Tooker, and our award-winning podcast about death. Death, the podcast, which was named one of the top 40 podcasts in America in 2017. You can also find other great Louisiana podcasts at Acadiana.com and it's BatonRouge.la. You can keep up with us on Facebook and Twitter and a bunch of other time-sucking social media as well. On all of it, we're called It's New Orleans, and you can find photos from this show on itsneworleans.com and on our Facebook page. These photos were taken today by Cheryl DalPozzal. If you're listening to this on your favorite podcast app, thank you for subscribing to us. Take a moment to rate and review us. That helps other people find us. Our show is recorded live today at Wayfare on Ferret Street in Uptown New Orleans, where they have a 3-hour happy hour here every day and brunch on the weekends. Happy Hour is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. If you're looking for Andrew Duhon, you can find him by going to andrewduhon.com and see if he's in a town near you. Otherwise, he'll be probably, I think, back here next week. So thanks for hanging out with us from everyone around here, around the table at Wayfare and back at our office at INO Broadcasting. I'm Grant Morris. I'll see you back here next week for more Happy Hour.
If you're a pro, when you buy big, you save bigger at the Home Depot. It's called bulk pricing. but you can think of it as bulk savings. Count on it for the stuff you count on every day, like grip-right collated roofing nails. Buy 3 or more packs and save big time. Bulk up on Deckmate, Tapcon, or Pass Load while you're at it. You work hard for your money. Saving it should be easy. It is with bulk pricing on pro-grade fasteners. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. Valid U.S. only.